Hello, I'm Punita here from Huawei Global Training Center, and today we are going to cover the topic of MAE based commissioning mode, part 5. This is the part of the local operations based on the base station binding. So, when we talk about the binding, usually the binding is actually the ESN number, or it is also well known as equipment serial number. So there will be a deployment ID at the UMPT card. So this deployment ID is being scanned. It will be bound with the deployment ID. So this deployment ID, you can find it at the UMPT card. So basically what is the process is that after the barcode scanner successfully scan this barcode, successfully scan this barcode, the base station will include the deployment ID. Okay, it will include the deployment ID in a DHCP server. So this one is basically will be connected to your MAE later. So this request will be sent to the DHCP server once you scan the barcode. So if this deployment ID is the same with the deployment list in the MAE, they do a comparison because there is a deployment ID at the MAE side. So the MAE will automatically bind the base station to the MAE itself. So basically the process is that from the base station, so you use the barcode scanner here. So from the base station, when you scan, so this is actually your deployment ID. So this deployment ID will be updated, or the request will be sent to the DHCP server, and the DHCP server will update the MAE. So the MAE will be automatically bind the base station. Alright, bind the base station to the MAE itself. So the binding process will be done automatically. So barcodes to the deployment ID will be printed on the MAE side. So basically the scanner will be connected to the USB. So they will connect here in the main control board, and they will use to read the deployment ID, and after the scanner is successful, it will emit a tone actually. Then the laser turns off. That indicates that it is successful. Once it's done, then you can remove the scanner. So that is the binding process. So let's go through the other part. So this one is related to the local operation also. So in the local operation, how to perform the service test. So when you talk about local operation, this process has to be done on site. So there are several service test example here. Like example, the first one, when you use the UE to browse, you can perform this 20 times. The success rate is about 95%, and user has no difficulty in browsing. So this is how you clarify that the service test is successful. Step 2, you can use the FTP server to test it. You use a test user equipment or UE to visit the server, try to upload some files. You can perform this 10 times. The success rate should be at least 90%. So the upload rates are stable. So in this case, it indicates that the service is successful. For step 3, the UE will visit the server and try to download file. So you repeat this 10 times, success rate is still more than 90%. Download rates, if the download rates is stable, consider this is successful. Step 4, we test a UE to call another UE. So this one you can perform 20 times, and the excess success rate is higher than 95%. So you have to make sure the calls are not dropped and there is no obvious noise. So in that case, you can assume or you can conclude that the service is up. Alright, so this one is how they perform the service test. So let's move into the remote operations. So remote operations, you will use tools like MAE platform. So from here, You can see that for the remote operations, this one is how to monitor the commissioning task. So basically, the base station will automatically establish an OM channel. So you can see this is the deployment list. All right. So from here, you will also need to make sure the OM channel is connected. So there are a lot of modules over here. So we start with the operation, the base station name. This is the anytime. What is the operation scenario? Target service, and this one is the status. So we can do some parameter checking. Example, global configuration. If you need to replace or main control board, you can just replace it. This one is to do the CPRI connection check, statistic, and to export. So if the auto discovery phase, auto discovery stays for a longer period, so that indicates that the OMA channel is failed between the base station and the MAE. So you need to check the deployment ID and the ESN whether it is correctly configured or not. Else you might need to restart the whole thing again, because the OM channel shouldn't be running for a long time. So you need to ensure the description of the DHCP and the OM channel establishment is normal. So basically you can actually try to restart or try to check or troubleshoot on the OM link. So in order to do a remote operation and in order to monitor the commissioning task using a remote method, we have to ensure the OM channel is up. So this is the main objective of this overall process. So the OM channel need to be connected. So this one is how you get the report once you have done your commissioning process. All right. So accruing the commissioning report. So this is very simple. You just export the report and this is how the report looks like. So this is in a HTML format. So this is confirming the task. Let's say you want to perform the commissioning. So under the deployment list, this is under the auto deployment list, you have the confirm completion task over here. So this is under more confirm completion. So exactly waiting to start or waiting to confirm. So depending on what activity you are planning to do here. So you have to confirm the activity before the activity perform. So if you also can choose more than one, actually the purpose of doing commissioning using the MAE platform is that you can cover more sites. So if you are on site, it is just one-to-one or it is just like one site at a time. So that is not possible for 10,000 to 20,000 sites. So if you are using the MAE access platform, you can cover more sites. So this is to cover multiple sites actually. So you can do parallelly. You can do parallelly and export the report to see whether the commissioning task is successful or not, if there is any alarm or probably any issues that you have to take note. So next is how to set the maintenance mode. So we know that we want to do things remotely, right? So basically once your commissioning task is completed, say once the maintenance is complete, because commissioning is part of the engineering activity, or we call it as a maintenance, all right, upgrades or commissioning. So we have to set the maintenance mode to normal and restore the normal network monitoring. So basically if you are doing some engineering activity, you have to switch from normal to the engineering activity, like example upgrade, okay, or commissioning, so that the alarms will not mix with the engineering alarms, because the current service alarms, if possible, need to be cleared, or you have to sort out the problem before you perform the engineering activity, because there will be possibility if something goes wrong, there will be more alarms to be reported. So that is the purpose of why the maintenance mode is very important before and after the whole task takes place. So in another words, we are virtually locking the base station to notify your other colleagues that there is such an activity, so they don't interrupt your activity at the same time. So this is actually to avoid a conflict of interest as well, to notify your other colleagues about the ongoing activity which is in progress. So Q&A session. So use the UE to visit the www server and browse web pages. Perform this test 20 times. The success rate is higher than 95%. So in this case, the user has no difficulty in browsing. So this is just a question and the answers together. So the summary of the overall content is about commissioning mode based on MAE. So what we have covered is local operations and remote operation. So that's all for this content. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.